YouTube. Good old YouTube. YouTube has had an effect on everything markets, TV, media, everything for the past, I don't know, about like 15 years, maybe 10 years. And it's just been going up and up and up. So it's had a huge effect on everything, even TV. Um, but what is the long term effect that YouTube has had, or that YouTube will have? First off, YouTube was created in 2005 on February 14th, and it was created by three founders. I'm not going to pronounce these names properly, so don't get mad at me. But Jawed, Kareem, Steve Shen, and Chad Hurley. Now, you probably do not know those names at all because, those were the founders, and I can't remember the exact timeline, but somewhere in between 2005 and 2020, somewhere in between there, YouTube was purchased by Google. And that's why you don't know the founders, is because the founders don't really have much involvement anymore. It's Google now. And that's one of the reasons why it has had so much success, was because Google is backing it up. Now, modern TV used to be watched a lot back then. Like, a lot, like, back in, I don't know, 2007, like, 2000, just 2000, all the way up to, like, 2015-ish. Now, 2015-ish is where the decline of TV had kind of started. And this is due to YouTube, because YouTube is a media sharing, or a video sharing company, where you can post anything, or not anything, but where you can post, like, most of everything besides explicit content. And we'll get more into community guidelines and stuff. But it's kind of killed TV. Like, the last time I watched TV was probably at a movie theater like 2 years ago. Or I wouldn't even call that TV. Like, normal TV, like Nickelodeon and stuff, they haven't died, but their viewers have greatly declined since 2015. And again, this is due to YouTube. YouTube pulls in so many monthly viewers, like viewers overall too. This shows because one of the highest subscribed YouTube channels has about 111, like 110 million T-series. I think it's more than that, but the last time I checked, that was how many. And like, if that many people are subscribed, then imagine how many people there are in general. And it's just, YouTube is insane with the growth, and the growth it's had over the past few years, from going from three founders to being owned by Google. And having it be owned by Google leads to advertisements, which is what I'll get into now. Monetization, a way to make money off of your videos. Now, this was kind of unheard of, because you can make money off of just posting online. Like, that's insane. But there's criteria for it, obviously. But the fact that you can even do that in the first place is insane. You don't even have to have a license or anything. You just have to be 13, and you're good. So that was a newfound idea that was, like, crazy. So that's why so many people are going to YouTube, and that's why so many people are viewing YouTube. Or not why they're viewing it, but since there's so much variety of stuff on YouTube, and I feel like that's one of the leading things that makes YouTube stand out. But it's also the community. The community of YouTube is insane, and I can't even get into it. But overall, YouTube has had negative effects on some things, and positive effects on others. Negative effects, obviously, TV has declined. Positive effects, though, is you can see other people's struggles, and you can help them with those struggles. For example, I think there was this YouTuber who had a brain tumor, and she posted about it, and she had a GoFundMe, and she raised a ton of money. And charity streams have raised millions upon millions of dollars for charity because of YouTube, because they were live streaming on YouTube. Granted, YouTube itself is terrible, and considering Jacksepticeye's charity stream, which they got taken down. But that's besides the point. Now, let's go into the negatives of YouTube. Not exactly the effect, like the negative effects of YouTube, but just YouTube in general. YouTube is terrible with responding to creators. People get falsely flagged, they get spam reported, so much crap happens, and YouTube doesn't seem to care at all. Like, they took down a music video of PewDiePie's. If you don't know who PewDiePie is, look it up. I don't feel like explaining it. But they took down a music video of PewDiePie's about roasting a melon. And they even said in the guidelines, or they have new guidelines for hate speech, but they took it down because of hate speech. But they have an explicit thing in there, in like the guidelines, that says explicitly that diss tracks and stuff like that is okay. But no, not PewDiePie. It's clear that they have a bias, okay? But YouTube itself is not good. They promote journalists and TV, even though TV is doing everything to try to stop YouTube. For example, a lot of journalists, New York Times, Washington Post, all of that, they have an extreme bias towards YouTubers. An example of this is when any YouTuber like PewDiePie makes a mistake. When PewDiePie was dressed up in a uniform that was kind of similar to people from the events of World War II, if you know what I mean. They tried, like, the media, like, had millions, or not millions, but had thousands of articles on that, trying to get him banned off the platform and trying to ruin YouTube's reputation. But whenever PewDiePie does something good, or whenever any YouTuber does something good, they don't cover it at all. The only time they covered something that was good is Team Trees, which was a thing by Mr. Beast, where every dollar you could get a tree planted. It was really good, and it helped the environment a lot. But that's the only time that they actually did anything, and that's because if they didn't, then they would get backlash. So YouTube is promoting people that want to see their downfall, that want to make the downfall of YouTube, and they want to make the downfall of YouTube because YouTube is basically killing them, because you don't need to read articles if you can just watch a 5-minute video on it. And that's another thing with TV. Or with, like, news. You don't have to watch the news anymore because you can just watch a simple 5-minute video covering all of it with no ads. Or with some ads, but still. And another bad thing is the ads themselves. Because it's run by Google, they have, like, a ton of advertisements. But the advertisements are never okay. Like, there are ones about, like, very bad, not bad, but very explicit stuff. Like, if a YouTuber uploaded the contents of that ad, they would get, like, demonetized. Like, they would get taken down. But the ad is allowed on YouTube, which is messed up. And another thing that I'm going to jump into right now is the verification. Now, YouTube allows, like, there's TV stars on the app, and they instantly get verified. Like a verification plus. Or check. Now, the criteria for being verified, they say, is 100,000, and they say that they don't have bias towards, like, celebrities. But Brie Larson, which I'll probably put something on screen right now. Brie Larson was at a very low, like, you need to have 100,000 subscribers to even get verified. And she did not have 100,000 subscribers, and she was already verified. So that just shows that YouTube has a bias, which I wouldn't even be mad, but the fact that they are taking away verification for someone who isn't at 100 subscribers. Like, a year ago, the community guidelines said that you didn't have to have 100,000 subscribers, but now it does, and now they're taking away verification, which I think is incredibly dumb. And they even went on to MatPat, MatPat got to, which is a YouTuber on Game Theory, he got to speak to Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, and she even said that they did not have a bias towards them and that they'd go wait for 100,000 to verify them. But that is obviously why, and I will play the clip right now.
Seem to get preferential treatment by YouTube.
The verification button, it doesn't exist for creators, but does exist for celebrities. You know, there's all these massive changes.
It exists for everybody in the same way.
But all of this shows that they have an extreme bias towards celebrities. And the celebrities are the same people on TV trying to, like, have them not succeed because they need views on their movies. But why would you watch, like, a movie or something when you can watch a video on YouTube? And you wouldn't even have to pay. Like, it's a free site, so you don't have to have a membership or anything. Now, YouTube, as I've talked about, has had negative effects on a ton of things, a ton of people. But people are taking it as a job now, which is obvious, but people have it as a job. And with the community guidelines changing so frequently, it's unstable, and I feel bad because people are already like trapped into YouTube, so now they can't change their job because they didn't go to college because they were doing YouTube. But now they don't have a job, or they won't have a job because the community guidelines changed so much that say a video that was okay 3 years ago, now it's not okay for some reason because the community guidelines changed. But now it's not okay, so that YouTuber could get 3 community guideline strikes, and then they would be gone. They would be out of a job. And that's basically kind of ruining someone's life because you need to. I feel like it's just dumb that they changed the guidelines so much. And YouTube has affected people, companies, businesses, everything. And it's not all negative. They have done positive. They have helped like people grow their platform. They have helped small businesses grow their audience. They have helped a ton of people, don't get me wrong. But the negatives are insane too. And I know I'm ranting about YouTube on YouTube, but it's just insane. And they just don't do, and like they don't talk to the creators. Like they don't, if somebody gets falsely taken down, or something gets falsely taken down, or something's wrong with YouTube, people will tweet at YouTube and they swear that it's not a robot like responding, but it always is because it's a copy and paste tweet every single time. It's a copy and paste tweet. So it's just messed up because they don't even, it seems like they don't even care about the creators. Like they just kind of like don't. It's just, I find it incredibly dumb. Now, that's not even like that's not even like half of what YouTube's done, but I don't know enough information, so I don't want to like say false things. But I will most likely make a follow-up to this, a part 2 of the effect of YouTube, but for now, this is part 1. Thank you for watching. This is probably going to be the end of the video. And I know that like a lot of people talk about YouTube and how it's bad and stuff like on YouTube. But thank you for watching my video if you did. But I would recommend watching other videos also to kind of get the bigger picture until my second video comes out. But anyways, I hope that you have a nice day. Stay safe and goodbye.